Hey guys, welcome back to Cloud पाठशाला. My name is Manender Tanwar और आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं AWS VPC, that is Virtual Private Cloud. In this video, we will understand the uses of VPC, why we are creating VPC and what we can achieve via VPC. जो VPC का मेन फंडा है एक नेटवर्क को दूसरे नेटवर्क से आइसोलेट करने के लिए. In each company we have a different departments like IT, operations, finance, and they don't want their infra to communicate with each other. That's the reason we are using VPC. Suppose एक VPC के अंदर हमने कुछ infra बनाया या कोई application है हमारी which is hosted under one VPC and our second application is hosted under second VPC. So what VPC will do, VPC will not allow them to communicate with each other. और VPC के अंदर हमारा होता है सबनेट where we define the IP. All you know, कोई भी हम घर में भी लैपटॉप यूज करते हैं, that's have a IP. In subnet we define the IPs. Suppose this for this department we are using different IP, for this department we are using different network. And under subnet we have a route table where we define the destination and the target. There is one application which we want to communicate with database that is hosted in different VPC. So what we will do, we will define the route from this one to this database server. And we will cover two more topics in this video, that is security group and NACL. So let's not waste time and get started with the console. Login. First of all, log in into the console. Here in search bar we have to type VPC. So हम direct VPC वाले पेज पे जाएंगे and we can see different options here. VPC, Nat Gateway, Subnet, VPC Peering, Route Table, NACL, Internet Gateway, Security Group. So we will discuss these things and rest of the topics we will try to cover in next video. So let's start with the VPC. I am creating a new VPC and that is Cloud Pathshala VPC. Okay, the rest of the things I am keeping a default value. We have to define the subnet as well. I'm taking this subnet. Okay, our VPC has been created. Now what we have to do, we have to define the subnet under VPC. Let's go to the subnet, create a subnet, and we have to select the VPC under which VPC we want to create the subnet. Okay, I'm giving the name CP subnet. We have to further divide the subnet which we have defined in VPC. Okay, I'm giving here 1.0.24. Now we have to create the route table. So when we create the subnet, it automatically creates a route table, a local route table. Route table default feature is to enable the local communication in the subnet. So let's see, we have just created subnet association. It will take our subnet which we have defined. Let's see the routes. So this is the default route. What is VPC peering? VPC peering allow the communication between two VPCs. Let's see how it works. So I'm going in VPC peering. I'm creating a peering. So this is one VPC I'm selecting, and the another one we have all the default VPC. So you can see this VPC subnet is 172.17.00/16, and other VPC has the network of 172.31.00/16. We can add the tag as well. Why we want this, we can define the reason is AppDB communication, like this. Okay, so which will help us to recognize in future why we have created this. VPC peering has been created, but the infra hosted under both VPCs still cannot communicate each other. For that we need to define the route table. First we accept the request. Okay, I have accepted the request. Now the peering has been done. We have to define the route tables as well. We will allow a one-way communication. In routes we can see only local communication is enabled, so we will allow a VPC peering connection here. What will be the destination? 172.31.00/16. Okay, this will be the destination and we will use the peer connection we just have created. Okay, now save the changes. Now we are done. These VPCs or the infra hosted under these VPCs can communicate each other now. This was about VPC, subnet, route table, and peering. Now we will discuss about internet gateway. What is internet gateway? Suppose we want to allow internet for particular VPC. In every infra we have some servers on which the internet is required, like in DMZ we can say, like a centralized server by which we allow or we download the patches, or a proxy server for any of our application hosted in cloud. So how we can create the internet gateway? I can say cp int gw. Okay, I have created this. Now we have to attach the VPC with it. I have attached the internet gateway as well. Once the internet gateway is attached, we can use the internet in our servers. And what is the difference between internet gateway and net gateway? We can see here. By using net gateway, we can achieve the communication between two VPCs, between cloud or our on-prem infrastructure. Let me create one net gateway, that is cp net gw, and I'm selecting a subnet as well. We have created a CP subnet. If you will create a public net gateway, that will allow you to use the internet as well, and you will get the public IP which you can use to communicate with any other infra in cloud or outside cloud. So right now I'm creating just a private net gateway. It will help you to communicate with another VPC as well as on-prem infra. If you want, as per your requirement, you can configure it. Now we can see the function of elastic IP. What is the difference between public IP or elastic IP? Suppose while we create our EC2 or while we create our application or servers, we get an option to choose a public IP. But the problem is, whenever we shut down or whenever we restart our application, we will not get the same IP as a public IP. That's the reason we use elastic IP, which we can keep as long as we want. Now I'm just creating a public IP. We can add a tag, that is name tag. We can say XYZ app. For XYZ we are using this. Okay, so we have created one EIP. This EIP we can map with any of our server, any of our applications, so we can access that application or server over the internet. As I mentioned, we will cover two more topics in the same video. These are network, ACL, and security group. So what is the difference between those? Security group works on a server level, and how it works in security groups, we can create inbound and outbound rules. Suppose हमने कोई अपनी application host की है किसी server पे, and we have hosted it on port 443. So we can add here custom port. We can define the port here 443, और यू कैन सेलेक्ट द सोर्स आईपी जहां से आपको वो एक्सेस करना है. अगर आपको कुछ लिमिट रखनी है, so you can define that as well. If you want to give a public access, global access, then you can select this any, then save the rules. Now security group will allow other IPs to communicate with this security group on port 443, while NACL work on subnet level. So we want to create a rule for complete subnet. Suppose we want to block any IP or any traffic, any port from a particular source. So we can define here that CP NACL. I'm selecting a VPC. Our NACL has been created. So these are the rules जो हमें by default मिलते हैं. Inbound traffic and outbound traffic. All the traffic is in deny state right now. Subnet association, we can associate the subnet. This is the only subnet we have created under this VPC. I have associated the same. Let's create a new rule in outbound. Suppose we are using a Windows server, and Windows server is using a port 80 to communicate with the Microsoft site so they can download the patches. Okay. Now what I'm doing, I'm allowing port 80, rule number 1. Now the port 80 is allowed for the complete subnet. Same way we can create under inbound rules. So this is all about VPC. Other topics we will cover in another video. What is VPN? What is transit gateway? What are the uses of these two things? What we can achieve through VPN and transit gateway. That's all for today's video. Please do watch and like the video. Subscribe Cloud Pathshala for new updates. Thank you guys. See you in next video.